Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of Green Room Confessions. To my left over here, I have Colin Irvine. He is our sound engineer
You just
expertise.
completely screwed up my name, and I feel like it was on purpose.
Colin Irvine? Is that not how you say it?
Not at all.
Irvin?
It's Irvin.
Irvine, whatever. Anyway, this guy over here. Colin Irvin. And then over here to my right, my other co-host is Connor Willie Wilson. And this is the last time you'll hear us call
Please
him Connor.
say that name 3 times very fast.
Connor Willie Wilson. Connor Willie Wilson. Connor Willie Wilson.
Yeah, that's the last time. I bet anyone watching this or listening to this just learned my first name for the first time.
Yeah, everybody.
90% of the time when I look at you, I forget your name is Connor.
Yeah, people
It's
call
in
me.
my phone as Connor parentheses guitar from when I first met you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Willie. So if you hear us say Willie, it's this guy right here. And then I will probably be doing the most talking. I'm Justin, your lovely host and brainchild of this podcast or whatever it is that we're going to be doing here. I was sitting at my desk at work. Musician is not my full-time job. I work at Toyota Motor Manufacturer, and I was sitting there and I was listening to some podcasts and decided nobody does a podcast for what we do as not touring pros, but we're also not in our bedroom trying to make it. Like, we are gigging musicians out there in the world of music. We're local musicians, and we do fairly well. You know, we've got some award nominations under our belt locally, and we have our sound engineer expertise of what it takes.
Boy, you are using that word expert very loosely.
You went to college for this, so that
I wouldn't necessarily call it college.
You went to someone more. It was a school, yeah.
I have a certificate.
That's more than some people have.
That is fair.
Than I have.
You know. But anyway,
I'm in college, so.
we decided that, we need to help guide the younger generation through this of like, hey, what does it take to be a gigging musician? We all have dreams and aspirations of being a touring pro or professional musician when you start out. That's how I did when I started playing in my bedroom. Like, man, I would love to do this full time one day. And here I am now, the elder statesman in my band, still playing local gigs. And that's perfectly fine. I still get to play music, and I love what I get to do. But how do you even get started in that? So that kind of got me thinking, and I called up these guys and I said, hey, let's talk about this. Let's invite people on and get the local vibe and perspective of people that we know, that we've had the joy of working with and being around, and try to help usher in a new generation of musicians and people who love music like we do, and what that kind of looks like. So we've got some bar owners with us and general managers. We'll have musicians, more sound expertise like Colin.
Again, there you go, that word.
Expertise. Anyway, so we're Green Room Confessions is the name of the podcast, and we are in the green room at the Bluegrass Barrel House here in Richmond, Kentucky, where we're based out of. And we are thankful to be able to have this opportunity to be here. And the owner and the staff of Bluegrass Barrel House, we're very grateful for them and allowing us to be here. And we'll give a shout out to our host, Rahila Phoenix, the owner of BBH. If you follow her on her Snapchat, she does a series or a thing on there called Green Room Confessions, where the staff will sit around in the green room after work and have some conversations. And so that's kind of where we're at, what we're doing. And our first guest today, Mr. Cody Begley, the general manager here at Bluegrass Barrel House. Cody, come on and sit down.
Willie's
Let's have a
already
conversation.
talking to us.
I feel like we need to clap.
Hey,
I'm not that important.
fanfare. All right, Cody, give us a little rundown. Tell us about you. What do you got going on?
So I'm Cody Begley. I started out as a bartender here, which started out because I just hung out here all the time. I met Rayla in 2012, 2013 when she was Buffalo Wild Wings. She was at Paddy Wagon for a while. Started going to her new bar when she opened that up. Hung out there way too many nights. Followed her over here, and we were offered a job to kind of start here, and through some employees and stuff like that, she needed some people to help out. So she asked us, and I started out as a bartender / bouncer / barback / whatever she needed. And then it slowly came just a bartender, and then went right back into whatever she needed I was there for. And then a couple months ago, she asked me if I wanted to, step up, take on some general management position, because she just needs people to help. Man, this place is becoming a beast right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's always busy.
Grown way past her expectations, and we're still growing. And that's the goal: is just grow as big as we can.
It's grown a lot since I started here.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when we started here, COVID had just started.
Yeah.
So we weren't even allowed to have people inside the building at the time. Yeah. So we had bartenders who were acting more as servers because everybody was outside. They'd have to make the drinks inside, take them outside to the pit and the patio area where people were allowed to sit at the time. And that was a constant thing until finally, the government released us to start letting people inside.
Oh, don't get me started on the government, sir.
For legal reasons, I really appreciate the government.
So how did you navigate that? Was it just show up and do the best you can, pretty much?
Well, I got hired right after when I guess the restrictions got lessened. Mm-hmm. So I started right after all of that happened. It was like December of 2020 was kind of when all that kind of started not being such as a restriction. But what they would basically do is they would come in, set the bar up like a normal night at a bar, and then when people would come through the front door, they'd get ID'd, pay their cover, and go to the out back where they're masked through, find a table, they'd sit down, we'd have the bands outside. We had like a large 40 by 20 tent out in our pit area, and Rayla had a stage built outside so that we could still have live music in an outdoor area that was also heated.
Right.
So it was a way to still let people come out and enjoy their night without being so, restricted on not being able to leave their home, but do it in a safe way.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what makes her different in the industry, is that she cares about people probably more than most people do, and probably more than most people should. But that's how she was able to get this buy-in of BBH as a family, not just a bar to go have a beer at. Mm-hmm. So she did everything she could to make sure people still enjoyed their night and, luckily make some money along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the time that I've known her, I think us sitting here is a testament of her as an individual, and just how loving and caring she is and people forward.
Oh, yeah, people have no idea, man, how big her heart is.
Oh, yeah.
We always make the joke with her that her heart's as big as her ass. And, if you've ever seen Rayla, she's got probably one of the biggest asses in Richmond. But, her heart's bigger. And it's wild how much she cares about people. One, when bands come in, she takes an investment in that band, not just, thanks for playing tonight, here you go.
Yeah.
And I've seen her, offer bands to open up the doors for them to let them come in on Sundays and practice.
Yeah, well, we have with our band.
There's been so many video shoots. I know you weren't in Paint Creek yet, but Willie was a part of Paint Creek when we done the acoustic video here and everything like that. And it was just
we've done
pictures upstairs.
Yeah, we've done photo shoots here. We've had rehearsals.
We've had PTY has filmed a music video in here. Lance Rogers has filmed stuff here. Marshall has filmed stuff here.
Their Netflix documentary.
Yeah, they're growing just as fast as everybody else around.
Yeah.
But that's just how much it's an investment into them, and I feel like those bands really appreciate that, so they invest back into us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the thing about her is she does that just out of kindness. She doesn't do it because she wants something in return. She just does it because it's the right thing for her to do.
Right. Yeah, and she's just and not just her, but everybody here is just such a. It's a warm, loving environment when you come in here. I feel like even though we just play here once a month or so, I feel a part of that family and united. I feel comfortable with all the bartenders, all the bouncers. They're just it's like a family reunion every time I come in. And that's just how she's curated the atmosphere around here.
It's not many places that you go to probably that the bartender knows the bass player's name.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially us.
Or knows what you drink when you walk in.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we know what he's drinking tonight.
Everything.
So how do you go about booking all this stuff? You have different bands every week. What do you do live music on You do open mic Wednesday.
We do live music every night we're open.
Every night you're open.
So
There's
we're
live
Wednesday
music
through Saturday.
happening.
So Wednesdays are open mic night, hosted by Marshall, which allows them a place to practice new songs. So with a sound engineer, like our expertise Colin, or
we go again with that word,
or a higher expertise, Mr. Dwayne King, who's, the sound engineer for Exile.
Exile, yeah.
So he's been with them for a while, and we're lucky enough to have him here.
Right.
And on Wednesday night, Marshall gets to come in. They get to host open mic night. So if you know how to play an instrument, or if you don't, you have a band that you can play your song with.
Yeah.
But also, it gives Marshall the opportunity to play a song that they've been practicing for a little bit, but they want to do it with a sound engineer, with speakers, with subs, with monitors, with everything that you need, and not have to set up a whole bunch of stuff and see if it's going to sound good on a stage, or if it's one of those you kind of scrap off that we don't need to play that one anymore.
Yeah. And then also give them a kind of a sense of, is this going to work? Is the people going to like
exactly.
It gives them a chance to debut it in front of somebody.
Open mic nights are underrated. Anywhere you go, I think it's important before you have a band or you decide you want to do this regularly, hit up an open mic night. Yep. If it's here or wherever in your town, wherever you're listening at, try to find an open mic night and see if you can handle the pressure and the nerves of getting in front of a group of people and singing and doing it.
Even if you're a seasoned musician,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
a song that you're not super confident in, but you don't want to play in front of hundreds of people. Find an open mic night that has 20 or 30, 40, 50.
I like tens of people that way.
Tens.
Tens.
Hey, listen, I sing in the shower. That's about as far as I can go with it.
That's when I get my Mariah Carey
I got behind
on.
the scenes for a reason.
No, but like in the music industry, like the open mic night here, like for the BBH rundown, like anytime there's a new musician trying to start up, like anyone who maybe don't have a band or have never played in front of somebody, I always tell them about open mic nights at BBH, because like, yeah, you have bars with open mic nights, but it's basically like, as important as karaoke. Here, I try to explain it as like, if someone's trying to start into the industry, start into the community, like this is your audition.
Oh, absolutely.
You come to an open mic night at BBH, you impress Rayla, she'll work you into a Thursday night slot with a little bigger crowd, a little bit of pay, and see how you do.
Yeah.
So like, say,
a perfect example is AC Unit.
Yeah.
They came on a Wednesday night open mic night.
Yeah.
And now they're playing their own, like you said, local gigs.
They have the best promos.
Oh, yeah.
I love their social media. I don't know. I run social media for our band, but I'm like, man, I need to get up with them because they have the best promos out there.
They, it's one of those things, man, is like some people have a passion for what they want to do. And that's one of their things is we have to promote ourselves to be serious. We have to make people serious about us. Yeah. We have to show them like, hey, and they'll blast everything. And it's always good content, but good content sells, and a lot of content sells. Because if somebody's on your feed all the time, you're eventually going to start paying attention.
Yeah. I mean, the more you can stay in somebody's newsfeed, that's going to get them to click on it eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it takes them a month to do it.
Are.
If you're in there every day, they've got to see something that interests them eventually.
Yeah, eventually. But setting an AC unit on fire, like who decides they're going to, one, name their band AC Unit, which I love, but also, I mean, we seen one that he jumped over an AC unit with a dirt bike. And then the other one, they shot it with a gun and made it explode. Yeah. Like, one, where are you finding all these AC units? But two,
is anybody in the city of Richmond missing any?
I was like, either missing one or you went to a flea market and just found a sea container full of AC units that don't work.
Pallet store.
Yeah.
Let's find some AC.
But no, like that's how I describe it. It's an audition.
Yeah, it's an audition.
You'll get a Thursday night spot, and then if you do good in front of an actual crowd, and like another thing, you can come on an open mic night if you have a full band and they don't want to just come by yourself, bring a guitar, sing 3 songs, and then bring your full band if you get back, and then you'll work your way into a weekend slot. I mean, it's a great way to get started.
Oh yeah, especially not to toot Rayla's horn more than I should, because she's gonna listen to this and she's gonna, I told you I was right. But one of her things is the open mic night. Just back to that of hosting it or playing it. John Lovern started out an open mic night at the old BBH, and he didn't even he was so shy. Rayla made him get up there and play guitar, and now John Lovern. I mean, he opened up for all kinds of people in Renfro Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Dylan Jasper, he did our open mic night forever, and now he's doing his thing. And now we got Marshall, who we're probably about to lose them because they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Eventually, they're not going to have time to do open mic night.
Growing massively.
Yeah,
right?
They're blowing up, man. I'm
love
so
those
proud
guys.
of them.
Yeah,
they're good dudes.
and
I
they're
remember
just
when
the best
Jared
dudes.
didn't even know how to play guitar.
Yeah.
When we used to hang out at the old bar together, he would do a couple open mics and play a little bit. But I remember when he learned how to play guitar, and now he's a rock star.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the cowboy hat.
It is that cowboy
what it
hat to
is.
get you, man.
I know.
It's
That's how I got my girlfriend, was the cowboy hat.
well,
Yeah, she didn't see I was bald, and
there's a such thing as hat fishing.
I was hat fishing.
He's
her.
hat fishing hard.
I hat fished the hell out of her.
I am fully confident you can be, not super atrocious as a man, but like have great other appearances and throw a cowboy hat on.
Yeah,
Sold.
yeah. I'm buttoned the
Unbutton the shirt a little bit, tuck it in, throw your
I'm
belt buckle
unbuttoning,
on,
yeah. I
throw
get
a pair of
hot.
boots on, some jeans, and
Yeah,
you're suddenly sex appeal.
I know.
I can't pull a cowboy hat off. I had to
Well, it's
wear
because
one.
you wear a Yankees hat, and
Yeah,
we know
well,
what that
it's
means.
Because I like winters.
The easiest way to pull off a cowboy hat is confidence. I didn't start wearing one until I started working for the PBR rodeo, and that's when I first started wearing a cowboy hat. And it took 2 weeks to get used to it, but once you get the confidence up, you don't want to go without it. Like
Yeah.
I kind of feel naked sitting here without mine, but I also didn't want to be the only one in the room with a cowboy hat on.
Well, you could have told Justin to wear his.
Yeah, I'd have worn
He's got a
mine.
white one.
I got-
a Boss Hog one, man.
Yeah, you see my white one.
You got to have
haven't
one in every color.
Yeah, I got a tan one, a white one, and a
Got
black
money.
one, and a straw one.
That's
I had to wear one. I got roped into going to the CMA Awards one time.
Yeah, I see what you did there. It was
And
nice.
robes.
Expertise.
Expertise.
There we go. But no, I got roped into wearing one to the CMA Awards one time, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I looked like Woody from Toy Story. It was bad.
There's a snake in my boob.
There's a different shape. For
Oh, yeah.
everybody, man.
Nobody puts one on the first time because this is it. But yeah, going back to your question about the bands and like the juggling of everything. So, like Willie was saying, Wednesday night's a great opportunity to get in. I can look at our Facebook, Instagram, our emails. There's probably over 2,000 emails right now that we haven't answered yet because we don't have a spot right now.
Right.
It's we're booked up right now until September. So we book really far in advance, and it's just we're trying to find a way to get people in all the time. So that's why we do live music Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Wednesdays are open mic night. You come in, like Willie said, audition, and then it's a better way to show, one, that you're serious about wanting to play here, two, that you've got the grit to play here, because you two gonna say something. Even Colin, BBH is a different crowd.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's not
absolutely.
we're a honky tonk, a Nashville bar dropped in the middle of Richmond, but they also, it can be either way. You don't know if you're gonna get the crowd that wants to hear Dinosaur or if you get the crowd that wants to hear Jack Harlow. You just never know who's gonna show up. But the girls that like to listen to Jack Harlow every night are also shaking their ass to Dinosaur.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you just don't really know what you're gonna get. But if you
Everyone-
can be versatile, that's the best way to get in.
If people come here, then I forgot what it was.
Well, your improv skills are amazing.
Let me tell you about a story.
It was 3,000 years ago.
Let me.
I forgot what I was going to say over here.
Yeah. But that's a great way to get in. And then Thursday night, we do live music. Usually it's acoustic, or we do a DJ for college night every once in a while. But, we do live music on the patio when it gets warm. The patio is a great environment here. On stage, we'll do that. And then Friday and Saturday is kind of, the show. So, Friday night bands, Saturday night bands, you're going to get the largest crowd. And you've got to be able to handle that. And you're also playing, from 8 o'clock to 12:30, with a couple breaks in there. But you also have to have enough material to get through 4 hours.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you can't show up with 10 songs, 12 songs, and think this is like a concert you go to, and you got an hour and a half of music.
We've definitely had bands show up before with, like you said, a catalog of 20 songs and get on stage. And then, I'm bartending, managing. I hear the same song 3 times. They played it at 8:30 that night. Maybe they wanted to play it again, or maybe they just didn't have any more songs. But, it's another thing to think about for young artists is learn as many songs as you can and get, have some versatility and have enough to get through an entire night instead of, cutting it early or playing the song twice. And that way you've got stuff to do with that.
Yeah, or running into the problem of, well, we'll take requests.
Right.
And then people want to hear a song and you stumble your way through it because you've never played it before. And you think, oh, well, we'll just take requests. That doesn't always work.
That's a dangerous
I know
beast, man.
we've done that, and I'm just like, I hit 4 notes right.
And also that turns
Turn my
into-
bass.
I think I've heard this song before.
You take,
That's yeah.
you take one request.
It opens up a
snowballs.
mountain.
Every
You have to take it at once. So like the way we kind of do it is like,
You want to hear a song? You better tip us, and that usually, I think, takes out the serious keeps the serious people there. If you want to hear a song, tip us $2, $1. I don't care. We always say if you want to hear a song and you were going to go put money in the jukebox or touch tunes or whatever,
Right.
you're going to pay for it anyway. We're not asking for $20, $30.
No.
$1. Throw $1 in there. Let us know hey, we want to play this. We're serious about it. Here's $1.
And
Okay,
also-
cool. We'll try to work it up.
Unless it's Freebird. Then
Unless
obviously you have to charge $100. That's standard in the industry.
Look, no joke.
Freebird for the experience.
A couple of weeks ago, it was probably about a month or so ago, we played at a Northern Kentucky bar. Somebody tipped us $500 to play Freebird.
I've seen that happen before.
It was phenomenal.
Well, that's what-
we played. I think we played it twice that night, didn't we?
Yep.
We played it twice. If you don't pay $500, you dang well we're going to play Freebird.
It's crazy you mentioned that because Dylan Jasper told me a story maybe 2 weeks ago. He was at Stagger, I believe, and some kids yelling Freebird, Freebird, and he said it's $200. He upped his price. The kid paid the $200. Dylan got done with the song and he said, "Do it again." Dylan said, point at the tip jar. Kid threw another $100 in there. So they played it again. And then when he got to the solo, he said, "Keep going." And he just kept throwing $100 in that bucket. And Dylan said, "I wish I just had a pedal loop that I could, loop it through." He
Go to the
said,
bathroom, come back, Freebird's still going.
He
I
said,
bet
"We
that
played
kid
this."
woke up really mad.
I bet his daddy called him. wondering,
yeah.
What were these charges?
Yeah, he said he played the solo
It's like a
like
Wolf of Wall
7
Street.
times that night.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, people are gonna pay for it. We're gonna play it. We're gonna do our
absolutely.
best. And
That's the thing a lot of people need to understand though is that, which a lot of your podcast is about. You're not just a musician, and you are, money is not the root of why you do it.
No.
But if you respect us and you want us to play a song, throw us a little money. We're here. We'll play whatever you want us to hear. But
Yeah.
and it might even maybe that request gives you an idea of what somebody else wants to hear that night.
And it's
It
not
might
just-
change your whole set list.
not as much a greedy gesture as it is just a small little like respect gesture.
Right.
yeah.
And I mean,
it
going off of what Cody said there, I mean, that could give you something like an idea of see how the crowd reacts to it. If it's a song you've never played before and you don't hear a lot of bands playing it, and you give it a shot, the crowd could go wild, and that may be one that you want to work into your set.
Right.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
it may be one they kind of drift away, and you're like, well, we won't put that in the set no more.
Yeah, that
And
one
also,
didn't go
like
too
a-
well.
like
We've
a
done
tip.
that.
A tip for like people who maybe haven't been in that situation much. Say you have your set list. Say you have your 4-hour set list, and someone walks up and is like, "Can you play, whatever?" And it's on your set list. Don't be like, "Yeah, we already play that." Be like, "Yeah, I think."
We might be able to work that in
get
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It shows them like, it makes them feel good.
Right.
Very
They might not know
rarely-
you play it.
Don't
Be like, "Yeah, we already play that, so that worked." No, like make them feel special.
You know what? We'll
Right.
try that one and then blow their socks off with it.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. I mean, very rarely.
Tell
will
them
you,
it's the first time you play it.
Yeah, very rarely will you go out to a gig and you're going to play 4 hours. Are people going to be there for 4 hours? Sometimes, but
I'll be there for 4 hours.
a lot of the time, well, you're working.
Most of the
you
time
will
I'm
be
there
there.
for 4 hours.
A lot of the times you'll
Cody's
have
normally there
some
4
turnover.
hours.
Well, here like 12
actually, I'm there
hours.
for like 6 hours.
I wish I just had a 4-hour shift sometime.
I only worked 6 hours today. It was fantastic.
I worked 9.
And if my employer is listening, I was busy the entire time
Absolutely. For legal reasons.
for legal reasons. Yes, I did not play on my phone. I did not watch
How
television.
many episodes do we get through before Justin gets canned?
Oh,
Who wants to take a bet on what reason he is?
He will officially be a full-time musician.
Yes.
Whether he wants to be or not.
you know what though?
There's more than just one for
That's going to be less child support.
For legal reasons, that was also a joke.
For legal reasons, yes, that was a joke.
We need to hire Cody as our attorney.
For legal reasons, I'm
You
just
don't want
kidding.
me as your attorney, but I can say that line over and over for you.
I'll just be quiet.
We'll just let you do all the disclaimers on this.
A like words like we might, we could,
Maybe.
Potentially, maybe.
potentially.
So you have bands in here on the weekends. As a general manager, you do some of the booking and some of the,
So Rayla handles most of her booking.
Okay.
She likes what she likes. She knows a lot of people in this industry, and a lot of people know her. So it is easy for her to reach out to somebody, or somebody reach out to her because they know her as the owner. So, just becoming the general manager, like I said, officially a few months ago, we're kind of transitioning some of those things to where I'm going to start helping with that. In the past week, I've reached out to a couple of managers of the next step of what I want to kind of go into is, concerts. So they may be, on your lower level. We're not going to have Morgan Wallen in here, or he might be a little cheaper now. But
he might need some bail money.
Yeah, might need,
I don't think
we already bailed out for $15,000.
You don't need any money.
But I've kind of the direction I want to go into is we've had bigger artists in here. Like we've had Charles Wesley Godwin.
You've had Exile in
We've
here
had
too.
Exile in
Yeah.
here. We've had. If you look on our wall,
Sunday Best.
you can look around. Sunday Best, Luke Trimble,
Lewis Bryce.
Lewis Bryce was in here. We've had Whitey Morgan. We've had Ward Davis. We've got some big names that kind of help us with that industry.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But, I want to start reaching out and kind of getting some of these guys that are just getting famous on TikTok. Or they've got the grit and they're going to, go that way. When we met Charles Godwin, he was, in his first album and, he came in here. And now he's touring with Zach Bryan.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I feel like a large caliber on Rayla's part is seeing that talent in somebody and investing in them. And then now we can't even get him here anymore. Even though he wants to come back, he wants to come back. He's told us that. But one, we don't have the capacity.
Right.
Two, we don't have the money.
Because when you get to that level,
you have an
a
agent.
lot of people think that when you get to that level, like if they want to come back, they'll come back.
Yeah.
No, it's not that simple.
You don't get to do whatever you want to do.
They have contracts and they have I don't like that place, but they're going to pay me this amount of money. I have to play there.
Exactly.
I really want to play this place, but they're not going to let me because they can't afford me.
Exactly. And, where we're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays now, a great opportunity for us is if somebody's passing through either on their way or on their way back from wherever they're coming from, it's a great spot. They can, who would want to make a little extra money on a Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah.
Especially when you're starting out and you're trying to grow and you're trying to get a bigger following. You're trying to get fan base around the area. Yeah. We have some pretty large festivals in this state.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, if you look at everything that goes on in Louisville, we've got all that. We've got Railbird, Richmond starting up with Kentucky Bourbon Jam, trying to get some large artists there. They had Keith Anderson last year. They had
Ricochet.
They
Julie
had
Roberts.
Julie Roberts. The year before that, they had
David Lee Murphy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got some bigger names coming through the town, and why can't we be one of those places that host larger artists?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's kind of my ambition is finding a way for us to get artists like that, like your Cole Cheneys, your Dylan Gossett, your Old 60s, 49 Winchester. They're not selling out arenas right now, but they're going to. Why not have that super huge goal of getting artists like that in here? One, it's only going to make us grow as a live music venue, which BBH is not just a bar. Like people see it and they're like, oh yeah, let's go to the bar. BBH is not a bar.
No,
it's a live music venue.
Yeah.
And people come here for a good time. They come here for good music, and we want to provide that. But we also want to provide a place for artists first to express themselves and express their music.
Yeah.
And that's a really big goal, and really big goal for Rayla is that she wants artists to feel like this is the biggest stage they're ever going to step on, and she wants to make them feel that way. I mean, if you look around, like, what other places do you go to has a green room that's set up like this?
Or very few places
There's
have a
very
green room.
few
Usually
places.
it's a closet or, say your instrument cases behind you or something.
Exactly. And that's one of the things when we built this, remodeled this building, and she said, I want a place for artists to be able to relax before a show, go during their break, and like maybe you guys need to talk about something like just happened on stage, and it's like, hey, during, your guitar sounds a little off. Let's see if we can fix that back there while we you know, while we're on this break.
Yeah,
We'll take
you don't have
take a
20 people
ride in
coming up
the.
to you, buddies,
Yeah.
congratulating you and trying to
Right.
talk to you and everything.
And
like
you're,
that.
you know, trying to still focus on your show,
Yeah.
but normal people don't understand things like that.
Yeah, you got to
Like
take
you
a
said,
ride in
take
the
a ride in the
massage
massage chair.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's, you know, it's
I've
just
had-
little things that she does to embrace the music industry, and that a
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand. You know, why do you have this band in there? I see something in them.
Right.
Like, that's, you know, she never uses the power trip of, well, I do what I want to, because she wants everybody to have such a great experience between the customers, the bands, the bartenders, the bouncers, the barbacks, the people down the road that we get noise complaints from, that, you know, she worries about that. She's like, well, you know,
Oh yeah, I've been
We-
to more
yeah.
than once to turn it down
right,
outside because
if we're
the
outside
neighbors have
playing,
called.
the neighbors are bothered. Well, she's like, I don't want to ruin their night.
Yeah,
Right.
So like maybe next weekend, if it's a big band, like maybe we should do it inside.
Yeah.
It'll be a little more crowded, but I don't want to ruin, you know, their weekend because other people are wanting to have a good time.
yeah.
Right.
And
That's a touchy subject about inside outside.
Yeah.
Okay, we won't bring that story.
Yeah.
up. That's for another time.
hey,
It's a
that's,
touchy subject though.
but it's those things that she cares about, which makes her different than a
Right.
lot of bar owners. I mean, even just the fact of giving responsibility to somebody who has no experience as a general manager for a beast like this. And that was, you know, a big on-taking of, you know, but also I'm learning from what I consider one of the best in the business
Yeah.
about, you know, somebody that's great to learn from who does things a different way than everybody else.
Yeah.
But it's also why our doors get filled up.
So, how do you go about promoting things like that? Because you do social media.
Yeah,
right?
so I run all the social media.
So how do you what is your plan? Because I run social media for our band and for this podcast and stuff. I struggle sometimes because I have a day job. So like, you know, a lot of people, when you start in this industry, you're not going to be able to survive on music. And we're gigging every weekend. We're playing, what do you think, a couple hundred shows a year? 150 shows a year? I mean, we're playing quite a bit if you throw it in there. So I mean,
We're playing
we play at least every
probably
weekend.
90% of every Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. So even playing that, you can't do this full time. So I struggle with doing the my scheduling for posts and social media. What do you have any tips and tricks on, like, what do you do? Like, what helps you get all your crap together Monday through Friday?
That's the biggest thing, man. We're like still trying to figure out every day. But with social media, what I've noticed is it's constant exposure. Like we were talking about AC Unit earlier. Constant exposure, the way that all these algorithms are set up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, they show you what is trending, and they show you who is posting the most. They show you what you've interacted with. So one of the best things to do that I've noticed is, when I took over our Instagram, we had 300 followers. And I think right now we're about to pass 1,500. And
When did you take that over?
probably 9 months ago.
Wow, okay.
So to grow 1,200 people
Yeah.
is pretty good. But one of our biggest things is the constant exposure. If you can post every single day, it doesn't have to be the same time, but if you can post every single day a different post, or twice in a day, you know, say you make a flyer that you're playing somewhere on Friday, post that on Sunday, and post it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Because it's going to show up. But how many times have you been scrolling through Instagram and you see a picture from, it says 4 days ago?
Right.
It's because it has a lot of likes, it has a lot of exposure. So what you have to do is find a way to get that exposure out there for people to look at it and like it, whether it's that post, the next post you made, or a different post. But you also got to build your fan base up to where people want to interact with you. So one of the best things I found is, you know, you see these dumb videos on TikTok and Instagram Reels and stuff. It says like, send this to 3 people. If they don't answer in 2 seconds, they owe you something.
Right.
So one of the things that I like to do is, what we've been thinking about is, I'll put a video of me making a drink, and I'll say, send this to 3 people. If they don't answer in 2 seconds, they owe you, you know, this drink on Friday.
That's a
So
good
they
idea.
send it to
Yeah.
those 3 people, which gets interaction on that post.
And then it can get into more people's
It gets into more
algorithm.
people. It gets into their algorithm. So it builds up your fan base. But also you can do things like this post to enter into a giveaway. You know, or enter this post. Hey, say your band's name is Jimmy's Love Language. Is the name of your band, which sounds pretty cool.
That's a good one.
That's a good name.
I like it.
But say like you post on your Instagram, you have merchandise. We all know what it costs for a t-shirt to get some t-shirts made, or even a hat or a bandana or just anything, or a koozie. Like this post for enter into a giveaway to win a koozie or win a t-shirt. Right. And you'll start having people like it. But then you take it to the next level. Hey, we're doing a giveaway. Like this post, tag 3 friends, and follow us. You'll be entered into a giveaway. Or even say you're playing Friday night at, say you're playing here. Hey, we're doing a huge giveaway. 20 people are getting cover on us tonight. Like this post, tag 5 friends, and make sure they follow us. We'll put you in a giveaway we'll pay your way into the bar. If they have a $5 cover like we have, some people that's a drink.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I can get one extra drink if all I have to do is like this post and send it to the 5 friends I was going to anyways.
Saying, hey, let's go out tonight. Yeah.
Then let's say they send it to somebody who doesn't follow you. You just got 4 new followers and 4 likes.
Yeah.
Because they have to like it for you to get entered. You're going to hound somebody to get entered into that.
Right.
So it's all about getting that constant exposure and getting people to buy in to what you're doing. People buy into BBH. That's why they come back.
Yeah.
We're not the only bar in town. We're not the only place that has live music.
Yeah.
Right.
In my opinion, we have the best, but we had to build that and we had to get people to buy into, hey, don't throw trash in our floor. If you throw a bottle on our floor, you're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I have 6 bouncers a night. If they see that, you're gone. Yeah. I had a kid the other night spit in the floor. We took him outside and said, hey, you got to leave. He's like, well, I'm not done drinking. Don't spit in our floor.
You're done here.
I didn't come to your house and kick my shit kickers off in your floor and get, spit everywhere.
Right.
Show some respect, show some class.
Right.
And that's what a lot of, places in this industry, they don't care about. Yeah. They're constantly worried about how much money that person's going to spend there. Yeah. I don't care if that kid was going to spend $30 here. You spit in our floor, you're an example. Right. Nobody else is going to spit in the floor now because they don't want to leave.
Yeah, that's one thing that I always had a problem with at another place that I worked is there was just constant fights. And that's something that you guys have a really good hold on, especially because it's a college town.
Oh, yeah.
It's a college town. And
Richmond would be one of the smallest towns in Kentucky if it wasn't for EKU.
Yeah. And I would almost classify this sort of as a college bar. It's a place for everybody, but 90% of the crowd is college kids.
Yeah.
And you guys somehow get them to behave. And like what you were saying about they think that you're worried about losing their money. Well, that's one problem that I had with another owner is they'd get into a fight on Friday and be allowed back in on Saturday. And they're like, well, they come in here and spend $50. Yeah, but they're also going to run off 4 people that are going to spend $50.
Exactly.
So you're keeping his 50, but you're losing 200. Yeah. And they just couldn't grasp that concept.
Yeah, it's part of that buy-in, but you also have to have that buy-in from your security staff.
Yeah.
George, our head of security, he's one of those guys, man, he don't take it from anybody.
No.
But he does a great job of watching and getting his guys to buy into his mentality of, hey, keep an eye on this over here. If you got 6 guys that are bouncing here and you have somebody in every area, you can see almost every angle in this bar.
Yeah.
So George does a really great job of if he sees something, if it's something that needs to be taken care of right away, he'll go and take care of it, whether it's somebody spit in the floor or somebody spilled a beer on the table. He'll take his rag out, clean that rag up, pick the bottles up, throw them in the trash, and, go along about his business. If it's something, or if somebody's even walking down a ramp and they're staggering, hey, it's time to leave. Like, we got to get you out of here. Like, we're closing soon anyways. And we have that way of talking to people.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? I think I do need to leave.
To calm the situation down, not escalate it.
A lot of, places in this industry have a big problem with their bouncers just want to fight.
Yeah.
Or like most of your bouncers will cause a fight.
It's a power
when
trip.
it's something they don't need to do.
Yeah.
So, one of the things George has really bought into his guys is it's a way you talk to people. And, Rayla started that as, it's the way you approach people, the way you talk to people. It really matters.
Like Dalton on Roadhouse.
Yeah,
Be nice.
Oh, be nice.
And it's not just for bouncers. I think that goes for everything that you do.
It goes with everything.
You know, as a musician, if I walk into this bar for the first time and you know, I want to be good to my sound engineer. I want to introduce myself and, you know, say, hey, thank you for running sound for us tonight. You know, I might be a little picky, but I appreciate you. You know, we'll do the best that we can, and go up to your bartenders and the owner, general manager, whomever, and just be a genuinely nice person. And that goes a long way.
Even musicians don't really understand is how small of a community, like, the music business and the bar industry and everything like that is. Like, I'm sure you know everybody that works at every other bar in Richmond.
Damn near it.
Yeah. And so you think that if, even as a customer, you don't think that if that person comes in and makes an ass out of themselves, you're not on the phone being like, watch out for this guy if he shows up. It goes the same way with musicians. Like, if a band comes in here and just absolutely bombs on stage and is just complete asses.
Right.
To the staff and everybody and the customers and everything, and then they go down the road and try to get a gig, you don't think they're going to call you?
Yeah.
And be like,
word gets around fast.
Word travels.
Yeah. It's people don't get the concept of, you know, just when you apply for a job, when they do reference checks, that goes a long way.
Yeah.
Because you don't think that a band is getting reference checked.
Yeah.
If you want to book, you know, down the road somewhere, they're going to call us and say, hey, I noticed they played for you a couple months ago. Like, what'd you think about them? Like, were they good? Like, did you like them? How were they with people? You know, people care about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But one of the things that'll kill you in this industry is a huge ego.
Yeah.
If you get on that stage, man, and your head is bigger than what you can perform, or even if you could be the greatest guitar player in the world and you're an ass to some of these people, I don't want you here on the stage anyways. Yeah. We've kicked people off of our stage for one, just being rude, and two, I mean, sometimes they're just not good.
And if you ever play here, Miami, my Amy.
Oh, any song.
Do not play that one.
Any song that references Amy.
Yeah,
I just go ahead and cut it from your set list.
Just go ahead and cut that from your set list, even though it's a fantastic song.
I will put it this way.
We love Keith Whitley.
Dalton Kaiser. One night he played Amy, and I tell you what, it was one of the best songs that he did that night. And we were all just laughing with Rayla, and we're videoing her. And he was like, you know, we were telling him to stop, and he was like trying to figure out why. Like, we were all laughing and joking. What are they laughing at? What are they doing? And then after the show, we told him. He goes, I had no idea. And Rayla, she said, listen, I hate that song for reasons, but you made me kind of like it again. But she said, please don't ever play it again. He said, Miss Rayla, I'll never play that. I mean, he's one of the nicest people in the industry.
Absolutely. I love Dalton.
He's awesome.
Like, he's a sweetheart.
Yeah. Man, he's killer.
He's so good too. Yeah. I met him at the Bourbon Jam. We played last year out there, and we were sitting in one of the trailers before our set, and Dalton and his girlfriend came in, sat down, and just like the sweetest human being I've ever met. He's like 6'5" and just skinny as a beanstalk, but he is just like a gentle giant and just
they were here Friday when I was working.
Yeah,
I think that's the second show that I've got to do for him, and just he was killer.
Yeah, and the Downwind, give them some love too.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I was running monitors for him at Bourbon Jam, and I could tell that he was good from where I was standing.
Oh no, he was great. So, I guess what I'm trying to get at is when you guys have bands up here, and you see different people coming in and out and playing, it's not just us going up there and playing music. Like, I think people don't realize, like, we're contracted out by the venue, by you all. Like, we're working for you that night.
Right.
So when we sit here and say, like, oh, you know, you guys have kicked people off the stage and stuff, like, people got to realize, like, you have your day job, you perform poorly at your day job, you're going to get fired.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you perform poorly in this industry, even though you may have an LLC for your band or whatever, you are working for yourself. But we have to remember, as musicians, as contractors, as artists, we're working for that venue, and they have every bit a right to kick us off that stage or say, hey, you need to do this or do that, and you have to be flexible to say, yes, that we can do that. And if you can't, you
got to be upfront with that too.
You gotta say, listen, we'll do our best. Like, this is what we're capable of doing, and we'll do our best for you. And if you're genuine with that, most people will be like, okay, we'll work with that. But then you got to be able to take that information and humble yourself and say, okay, we got to get better at X, Y, and Z. Owner or the bar back or the manager said, hey, try this or this and that. I mean, we as musicians got to remember, we play music 2-3 times a week. You guys are here live music from different musicians every night you're open.
Well, you said 2 or 3 times a week, but how many times do you not have a gig that weekend that you get to, you also have a life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you have to step back and enjoy that some too.
Yeah. And as musicians, like I know Willie's here all the time, coming in and out, and
I live 5 minutes away.
Well, yeah, but what I'm getting at is, like, it's good to go out and support if you're not working as a musician that night, or as a sound guy. You've been to bars and supported me in places probably you didn't want to go, but
definitely,
you came and
definitely
you came to support
definitely
me.
Did not want to go.
And but you got to do that with your friends. This is a close knit industry, and
you never know what it's going to turn into either. I mean, there's nights that Willie's came here on a Wednesday, and somebody's wanted to sing, and they're like, "Hey, would you care to play guitar for me?"
Yeah.
Sure, I'd love to.
I came here one night. It was an open mic night that Marshall had set up for another venue in Ohio. And I ran into a guy that he was doing an acoustic thing that night. And I went and talked to him afterwards and be like, dude, I love your sound. I love what you're doing. And, Willie and I have played gigs with him now. And, I consider him a good friend. Like, he's a heck of a songwriter, and he's got a bright future in front of him. I really do think that. But I never would have been able to meet this guy and get these relationships. And through him, I've been able to reach more people that I wasn't able to meet before, or have the opportunity to say, hey, yeah, we have mutual friends, and spark a conversation and get to know these people. And I think that's something that's important. If you're wanting to start this and wanting to get into this industry,
networking is key.
Networking is the absolute biggest thing you can do. And I'm sure it's the same way for you guys.
Same way with venues. Because, I mean, Rayla, like I said, she's very known in the community, but she also makes herself known. Like, she's really good friends with, like, the owner of Austin City, the owner of Cocktails 2. She worked at Paddy Wagon for a while. She knows the people, all over the place. And it's, Gypsy Cow, like, bars and bands, places like that.
Yeah.
But, it's a growing relationship. It's like, hey, let's do something together.
Yeah.
Like,
you got to collab with people, you got to.
And we're always about that. Like, I've met somebody who's, with the Burl. And, we want to try to collaborate some things together of, like, hey, like, if we can get a large artist, we could do a Friday and you could do Saturday. We're far enough apart that, you're going to get 2 different crowds. And one, people have the misconception of there's a limited amount of people. Like, there's a lot of people in Richmond. There's a lot of people in Lexington. There's a lot of people in Berea. There's a lot of people in Georgetown.
And for a good artist, people will drive.
Oh,
yeah. You drive 45 minutes.
I mean, people drove 3 to 4 hours for an eclipse today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it only happens every 7 years or so, but,
2045 is our next one.
Whenever you're promoting stuff and whenever she's booking stuff and everything, you're not just looking at who's coming from Richmond or who's going to see this in Richmond. I'd say you're looking at a circle outside of Richmond of up to an hour's drive.
We had somebody from Pennsylvania play on our stage last
that is
Thursday.
true, and she was absolutely
She
phenomenal.
was great.
Faith something other.
Faith Noel.
Noel. She was
her on
fantastic.
She played a Wednesday or a Thursday with the Bourbon Jam Showdown, and then she ended up making a connection with Savannah Reeves, and she played a Friday night with her at I believe it was Austin City.
Yep.
The next night, played with her, and then Saturday they hung out.
Yeah.
Where do you get that in a community other than music? Because you, like I said, 7-hour drive or so,
right,
to come for an opportunity to play.
No guarantees. She's playing for free,
Right.
for a chance to maybe get a part of this festival coming up in August.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are the things you have to do as a young artist. You're starting out, like, don't have that head on you of like, well, I deserve to play there.
No, you got
the worst thing you can ever do is walk in this bar and say you deserve to be on that stage, because Rayla will tell you exactly what you deserve.
Rayla will show you right to the parking lot.
And not just Rayla, most sensible business owners would be like, I don't want to be associated with that type of energy.
It's a relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you have to grow that relationship of, venue and band.
Yep.
Like, we have great relationships with a lot of our bands that come in here because it's a mutual respect.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
guys are working, we're working, and we want our shift to go as easily as possible.
Right. And it's one of the things that Rayla does is, our bands are well compensated.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
we do charge a cover. She doesn't want to make money off of a cover for a band. Like, she wants the band to get what they deserve, or, there's that deserve word. But, if you perform great, most of the time, bands come in there and be like, hey, can I get a certain amount of number? And she go, well, here's this. And it's double the number they asked for, because she's like, this is what you made at the door. They came to see you and they came to drink.
Yeah.
This is, you did such a great job. Like, here, this is what you deserve to have, because you did a great job. You worked great. You interacted with the crowd. And that's just kind of one of the things that we do is,
Yeah, that's key. For me, I'm limited in my musical abilities. But having a good stage presence is key for me. I don't get nominated for Bassist of the Year based on my skill level,
because you show so much chest.
It's something. It's
buttons.
Unbutton the lack of buttons.
Probably the cowboy hat.
And the cowboy hat. It's the cowboy hat. You have to. Hey, listen, we're trying
I knew
to.
what you were talking about.
We're trying to talk here, folks.
Done all the talking, okay?
Well, it's not my fault.
I'm just going to say one thing is that
Yes, sir.
Rayla's going to listen to this podcast, and I think she's going to say, I didn't know Colin could speak that much.
Yeah, probably not. I think anybody that works here is going to say that.
Yeah. They're going to be like, I didn't know Colin talked.
Thing about me is I don't approach people to have conversations.
Yeah. Well, everybody asks me,
it makes me seem rude, and I'm really not rude.
They're like, Colin's so quiet. I said, I've known Colin since he was in high school.
Right.
And then that's goes back to relationships and getting to know people, because it's a big part of, one, being a human, and two, creating good relationships with other people to where you can have interaction. You can figure out something about somebody. Like, maybe you don't know what they're going through, but you get to be friends with somebody. You learn more about that person and say, oh, this is why he plays guitar. One of my best friends in the world now, he got out of the Navy, started playing guitar while he was in, and that's his safe space now, is he plays guitar because he gets to express his emotion now. And a lot of people don't know that about him, but that's what he does to express how he feels about things. He gets to sing. He loves doing it, but it's his escape from reality for a while. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of musicians, that's kind of how they get into it. Other than, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. There's a lot of other things about
not much of that in local. What we're doing.
I'll tell you right now, I've seen a lot of bands in here. There's a lot of sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Okay, well, maybe not our band.
Not us.
But like I said, that's it's part of growing. As yourself and your band and stuff, is learning why you started out doing it to get you back into that connection of. It's not about the money. When you start becoming about the money as a cover band or a local gig band, you're going to be sorely disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's hard to make ends meet, especially in 2024, of the prices of everything. Mm-hmm. You have to really have a passion and love for doing it, or it's not going to work for you.
Yeah, it's got to be fun every night when you go up there. I mean, you're going to have a set. I think we got, 120 songs in our set, but we usually play about
requires the 4 hours.
About 65 of those 120, but we're capable of more. And we throw in originals and stuff like that, but you've got to be able to be flexible with all this stuff and, really say, hey, do I want to play Freebird every night of my life that I pick up an instrument?
You might not want to.
I love Leonard Skinner. I don't like to play that song. I don't want to play it. I don't even want to listen to it.
Artemis Pyle doesn't even play that song.
Yeah.
I know that from experience.
But it's having that discipline of putting a smile on my face and going out there and playing the same song again.
Well, how many weeks do you play the same song every night?
Enough to where he can order barbecue and
I have conversation. Listen, when I met my girlfriend, we were playing a gig. And I was flirting with her, kind of making eyes with her and stuff. And in the middle of the song, I walked off the stage while playing with one hand and my phone in the other hand. And I said, I'm going to need your number while playing because we play that song so often. I got her number, and we've been together almost a year now.
Don't let him fool you. He might have hit one right note.
You know what? Nobody noticed except you.
Exactly.
I got her number. That's all that matters.
That's another big thing is, like, the confidence level of, like, not just doing that, but being on stage and playing a song. If you miss a note, how many times do you miss a note during a song and you're like, oh,
why are you calling me out?
Not you, I'm talking about Willie.
Oh, dude, but I mess up every song.
But
Just
it's
do
like
it twice.
nobody else knows that in a
You just
venue
play it off.
other than you.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's really, really bad. I mean, which it happens.
If the song's in C and you're playing an A minor or something, like, we're going to get that. But
Listen, the first night we ever played the song White Horse, Chris Stapleton's White Horse, we didn't rehearse it. I started it in the wrong key because we were playing it in a different key than what Chris Stapleton plays it in. I was playing it in the key that he plays it in, but we were singing it in a completely different key. And about halfway through the song, I was like, something's not sounding right.
it might be me.
I think it's me. Guess what? It was me.
some 4 degrees coming in handy.
Yeah. So
And that's where the expertise is.
the expertise went down. Wait, that's where I'm
Where's
like,
that mute button again?
that's when I look at my bass and be like, oh my God, what happened? This thing is broken. Colin, what'd you do?
I broke a
this?
string.
Oh my gosh. But, you know, to be able to bounce back from that, you know, like the next song, I completely forgot that I had messed up, and I went out there, put a smile on my face. I stood on some top of a bourbon barrel and shook my non-existent butt and waved my cowboy hat, and we had us a good time. And we probably packed the place out that night, and we laughed about it later, talked about how dumb it was, and I still haven't learned the song.
That's what you have to have short-term memory, though.
You got to have,
like, you can't let that experience ruin. That might have been at 9:30 at night. And then you still have another 2 or 3 hours left that you've got to get over that.
Oh, you can't.
You can't take your baggage on stage with you.
You have to let that go.
Absolutely.
You can't even
Let that fester for the rest of the song.
No, you gotta.
Yeah,
Like,
you got to.
There's been, like, very early on, because, like, when I started this band, this was the first band I ever been in. My first time in a bar, first time on a stage. Like, this was my true first time. It was like, man, I was nervous. And we had a good crowd that night. It was a big crowd. And I messed up a lot. And it was awful because, like, I messed up on, like, the third song in, and then it affected me for the rest of the night.
You let it carry with you.
And I just kept doing worse and worse and just
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't you join the band about 6 hours before that?
4.
Yeah. So,
When I joined the band,
yeah.
my first show with the band was I got called on
your
Friday.
first show
was graduation night.
It was the first time I ever worked here.
Yeah, me too. I got a call.
I remember looking at
the night
band and be
before.
like, who are these guys?
These guys are weird. Who's that bald guy up there? He's weird.
That was our third time.
Who is the guy? Is that somebody's papa up
It
there
was
playing?
graduation
Grandpa.
night.
It was graduation night. The line was backed out to the road.
To the stockyard.
Yeah, I mean it was crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you reach capacity, you got to go one in, one out. And
Yeah, it was.
we actually,
it
one
was
of the
that
things
night.
that, glad you brought that up. One of the things we do is we'll go down the line and we'll tell people, hey, listen, it might be an hour, it might be 2 hours before you get in. Go to another bar.
Yeah,
Like, please do not stand in this line and ruin your night. There is other bars in this town. Please go enjoy that bar and then have some drinks and have fun versus standing in a line hoping to get in. Because I can't promise anybody's going to leave, but I also can't get you in until a certain amount of people come out.
Because, I mean, like I said earlier, this is a college town, sort of a college bar. They're not getting out at 8 o'clock.
No.
They're not coming out till
Oh,
10:30, 11.
yeah. 8:30.
You guys got to have everybody out of here, what, by 12:45, 1?
Yeah, so everybody has to be out by 1.
So
So we start closing at 12:40.
Yeah, and so, I mean, if it's already 11 o'clock and they're saying there's a 2 hour wait, why would you want to stand in the line?
Right.
It's because people have bought in.
Exactly.
And it's like,
And
they want-
That's a
you know
great
what?
testament
It's,
to
yeah, absolutely.
the entire crew
And
here.
my advice is come earlier.
Yeah.
We open at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
If you know you want to come out that night, and maybe it's a financial thing that you can't sit here from 5 o'clock till then, and hammer down like you can at a pre-party or whatever. But get here at 9.
Yeah, 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, the band's starting at 8:30.
We're starting about 8:30.
Yeah, come get some dinner.
Yeah,
come eat.
Come get a food. Come get your food. Get in, and just grab one drink and nurse it for a while until you're ready to go.
And it might protect your Sunday.
So music has brought us all together. I didn't know any of these guys before I joined a band and got in this industry, and now I consider these guys some of my good friends, and I can count on them and trust them and on just about anything. And if I'm ever going to get arrested or detained, it's probably going to be with one of them, or maybe all of them. Who knows? I don't know. But it's just love. That's what you get, and you get what you give. And I guess you gotta be a gracious, loving human being to be in this industry.
Just don't be a jerk.
Just don't be a jerk. That's pretty much what it comes down to. If you want
to that hard to be
good
nice.
at music, just don't be a jerk.
Yeah,
it's really not that hard to be nice.
It's not hard to be nice, and it's not hard to be a musician.
And you can fake it too.
I fake it. I fake being nice a lot of times. I don't want to talk to people.
No,
I don't want.
I don't want me all the time. Try to be like, I can't hear the vocals. Well, that's because I want to look at them and be like, well, that's because you're behind the speakers or you're outside to where you can't hear. So maybe come inside or stand in a better place.
Or every time
I just say okay and smile and wait for them to walk
every
away.
time we're playing acoustic shows and the same
drunk sorority girl walks up and requests the same song 10 times that we're not going to do, it's like, I'd love to kick you out, but we're just not going to do that one.
Or my favorite.
It's also not. It's not a song you can do acoustically.
We can't do "Kickstart My Heart" with 2 acoustic songs.
Womp.
My favorite is some random Joe Blow will come up and be like, "Let me play your instrument."
No.
This is Willie and I both. We have custom instruments that was built for us. That was
dude we will introduce on the show.
That we'll have on the podcast a little later if we survive. But
for all listeners out there, don't be that guy. Even if you are a musician, if you don't know the people,
don't be
that guy.
I have I have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of instruments and music gear on this stage. I don't need somebody who's had 47 Miller Lights in the parking lot, and then came in here to dance around like a fool.
Like Willie's situation, because I know a lot of times.
Don't do that.
I know a lot of times
or
Willie
don't
comes
let
in here
people
when
do that
Marshall's playing, and Marshall knows Willie, knows he's a good guitar player.
Yeah.
Like they ask me.
I've never seen Willie ask them, be like, I want to play this song with you. They're always, do you want to?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a mutual respect thing and a courtesy thing. Just don't be that guy, because you're insulting whoever you're asking that
It's kind of like your significant other. You wouldn't walk over and say, hey, let me sleep with your wife.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
well.
why would you ask to play my guitar?
Yeah.
Or a lot of us that work here, we all wear cowboy hats. Let me try your hat on. No.
Oh man, no. Don't. I've had
First off, there's a rule: wear the hat, ride the cowboy.
Yeah, that's what I tell. I had one guy. We were playing a private event. I won't name the event because they paid us very, very well. I had a blast.
Nothing wrong with the event.
Nothing wrong with the event.
Nothing wrong with the event.
One of
Say your line, Cody.
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
That's a joke. But seriously, this guy asked me. He said, "Can I wear your cowboy hat?" And I was like, no, you don't ask another man. You can wear my trucker hat, but you cannot wear my cowboy hat. That's not how this works.
It's just disrespect. I had somebody hit mine off my head one night in here. Thank you, George.
Thank you, George.
They didn't last much longer after that.
Yeah, I'd say not.
But no, going back to that real quick, like, even if you're a musician, if you think you're good, you play in your bedroom every day, like, good for you. Don't walk up to a band on stage and ask to play.
That's basically you're insulting the people on stage. Yeah. Because you're basically looking at them and be like,
I can do it better.
I can do this better than you. You've hauled all this equipment here. You're the one being paid to play here.
You're the one that took the time and booked the gig and showed up here, took time off work.
But I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Get off of here.
Yeah, that's not how you get into the industry.
And that's not necessarily everybody's intention, but that's what you're telling the person on stage.
Yeah, that's not how you make friends in the industry by walking up to them and say, "Hey, let me play that instrument you got there." You don't do that. You just hang out and throw in a compliment or something, or even whatever. Just say, "Hey, I had a fun time tonight. I also play music. If you guys want to jam sometime, that's perfectly fine."
Like, there's ways to approach it. Like I said, it's different when the band says,
"Give me
"Hey, you
your
want to play?"
guitar."
Yeah. I feel like that's a code thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of bro code. But it's like, say you're on stage and say you guys are playing, but you see somebody that you normally would watch at a show walk in and be like, "Hey, do you want to play a song with us?" Or if I notice somebody, be like, "Hey, Willie, Dylan's here. This crowd really likes him. Would you guys want to play a song with him? I can arrange that."
Yeah.
But I would never say, "Hey, Willie, Dylan's here. Let him do, this is how you remind me by Nickelback," because you guys don't do it, but let him do it real quick. It's like, no, it's like, hey, I can arrange that if y'all want it to happen.
Yeah, and
And
we have
had
Cam
it happen all the time.
Like Cam comes up, one of the bartenders here or bouncers. He comes up and he'll do a song with us, and we love it. And Cam doesn't come up and be like, "I'm gonna play tonight."
Yeah.
Whoa.
Get your ass off the stage, Justin. It's my time to shine.
Whoa.
That's part of that
I'll probably
musician's
let
code,
Cam.
though, is that like,
But-
I'm not going to ask you to play, but I might say, "Hey, what'd you think about us doing this?"
Yeah.
And you might be like, "Dude, that's actually a good idea." But don't
Maybe not
say,
this time,
"Hey,
but
I'm
we'll get you
gonna
next
play
time or
this song
something,
with
you know?
you."
Yeah.
And again, that comes with building community. I can walk in the door and, I'm good friends with several bands. And, they could be like, "Hey, come play a song with us." I was like, "Okay." Or if they don't, I'm not going to go ask because that's not, no, stay in your lane.
Let's just go listen to them and talk with them in between sets just
If they're your
just do
buddies,
that.
go hang out with
We've
them.
had
Even if they're not your buddies, just
We've
go
had
introduce
situations
yourself.
come up here where something happens during the night and we can't finish a night with somebody that's playing, but it's like, "Hey, we're in a pinch. Do you want to play?"
The Friday, what was it, Friday?
Saturday night.
Saturday
But it's-
night, I was
Here, and Nick Markham was here, and the band that was playing, the lead singer was really sick, but he gave it a good college try. Like, you could tell dude's got talent, but you could also tell he's just really sick. It just didn't work out. He tried, he showed up, tried his best, and he called it quit at 10:30.
Whenever his voice went out completely.
It was like 10 or 10:30, and he was just like, "I'm done." You guys came up to me and Nick, and we're like, "Hey, what do you have with you? If need be, could you guys go play up here real quick?" Just a last minute, I showed up that night just to hang out. But
it's part of
it's part of
the
a trust
community.
with
it's part of the community.
trust with the
Exactly.
venue is like, "Hey, we know these are two really good artists and two really good musicians. Let's if we can maybe give a little live music for somebody. If not, we'll play the jukebox. That's fine."
Yep.
Things happen, things come up, people understand that things happen.
Yeah.
But there's always a way to resolve around and it's not uncommon that people like live music better than me playing an iPad behind the bar.
Yeah.
It's if you play Freebird on stage, it's different than if I play Freebird on an iPad.
Yeah.
There's a lot different environment. So it's like if we can provide any kind of live music for somebody, we're gonna try that route.
Yeah.
But the night was going well, and we're like, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
And everybody
it's just-
understands it's a great time.
It's not necessarily like, oh, Willie is just such a great musician, which
No,
he
I'm not.
is,
I'm
which
not.
he is.
I'm not.
But it's being friends with people. I think that's the theme of this podcast is, or at least this episode is,
Be nice.
Be nice to people,
nice.
Be nice.
create relationships, and just embrace your craft. You don't have to be amazing. Just be good enough to be able to keep up with whomever you're with.
just always remember there's someone better.
There's always somebody better, and it's good to have somebody ahead of you that you play with or somebody that's behind you to help bring along. And that's kind of what we're wanting to do here is bring along people who are maybe in their bedrooms tonight listening to this or wanting to say, "Man, I play guitar at home. I'd love to start a band. How do I go about doing this? How do I go about getting into a venue? How do I go about even learning to play guitar or bass or drums
I
or
don't
whatever?
know
Be
your-
like, where do we go? Like,
I don't
how do
know either one of your guys' backstory on getting into music or anything like that. But no, I'm the first in my family that ever. My parents can barely play a radio.
Oh, my dad can't. He's
And
like
they'll be the first ones to admit that.
Yeah, he got a new truck with a mute button on the stereo, and he was happy as a pig in poop.
And so I had to come up through my entire journey blindly. Like I had no guidance. I didn't even have like family friends that I could ask.
Yeah, like I had people in my life that were in music, but they played at church on Sunday. They didn't go out and play, original music or go out and play, every weekend. I mean, they were playing at church on Sunday, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
that's how I got my start.
Yeah.
That's how
That's how I got my start. And that's an important part of my life and my musical journey. And, that got me into a lot of places, playing with a lot of people. And I'm very thankful for that time of my life. But not everybody has that opportunity to play music in a church or, or at all.
Exactly.
Majority of people who play instruments play by themselves at their home, and that's great. That's fine. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But as musicians, I can tell you, it's better to play. For me, at least I feel better. I don't know about you, Willie. When I play in front of people, when I can feed off that energy of the crowd and the song and play with a drummer as a bass player, like that's huge for me.
I mean, that's what made me fall in love with music. I was like you guys. I mean, I played in my room whenever I started playing guitar when I was 12. And then I lost a bet to some friends when I was a junior in high school. And after they found out I played guitar, I had to start bringing that to their back porch, and we would sit around and drink beer when we technically, for legal, now that Cody's back, for legal reasons, we were 21. That's what made me really like fall in love with music, was just the joy that it brought to just my friends. Like, none of us could sing. I didn't even know how to sing and play at the same time, so I couldn't even fake it. Like,
I can't even talk and play at the same time now, and I've been doing it for 20 plus years.
I can't even talk.
Like, just sitting around and playing a few chords and pretend like we knew what we were doing, and that's what made me really want to do something with music, was just watching how much joy it brought to other people.
Absolutely.
If you got CG and D and a capo, you can about do anything you want to do.
Oh, you can play any country. You can play any country song that's ever been written.
Right.
Yeah.
Any good one. Anyways.
3 chords and the truth.
Going back to the open mic nights here at BBH, that's not just for singers. Like, say you're a musician, like, don't sing. Say you just play guitar or play drums or play bass.
You want to be a lead guitar player,
and you want to find a band. Come and hold your own little, like,
notice
try out in your head.
Yeah,
like,
that person can sing. I'm gonna go talk to him, see if he needs a guitar player, see if he needs a drummer. Does he have a band? Like, maybe.
Hey, I'm available to fill in. I've done that.
Yeah,
I mean, I have a band that I play with regularly, but I fill in with people.
You don't have to be a singer to benefit from an open mic.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
I've even done that from like an engineering standpoint.
Yeah.
Is I've been to open mics, especially when I lived down in Nashville, because they were everywhere.
Yeah.
And, just told them who I was. I'm like, hey, if you want to record, here's my number. You need somebody to do a live show, give me a call. I'd love to work with you. I like what you're doing.
Goes back to networking.
And yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just networking and getting your name out there.
You have to sell yourself to get others to buy into
Exactly.
Yeah, I always say it's about exposure, and I love exposing myself.
Especially on the BBH stage.
I've never done that.
For legal reasons, it was only a shirt.
My shirt was off. That was it. It was just my shirt.
Well, we can do a show without Cody now for legal reasons.
Well, I mean, you guys are.
Please welcome the new
Rayla's green room.
The new fourth host.
I'm sure I'll be the one with the key to let you guys in. So
I feel like a beer.
Blake, I hate to tell you, but you missed the first episode. You're out.
You have now been replaced.
Blake is our good friend, and he's an important, integral part of Green Room Confessions, and he'll be here when he gets here.
Maybe there's a new segment that comes with the Facebook page and stuff that's just called Blake Thoughts.
Blake Thoughts.
That's also
Blake.
part of
Maybe not be PG rated, but
you're not just full-time musicians.
be
Like
entertained.
Blake is,
He's a
Blake's
lineman.
the new
he's a
ground
lineman,
crew
so.
for electric company, and
Yeah.
Me and Colin, work construction.
I'm kind of a mix of Justin and Willie. I have an office job for a construction company.
I mean, I went to
I'll
school
get
for
that.
athletic training, and here I am now, full-time GM at not just a bar, a live music venue.
Oh,
Like,
I
you
like
never
the way
know
you said
how
that,
your
yeah.
life is going to shape out and how it's going to change.
Yeah.
But you just have to find what makes you happy.
Yeah, and I mean, it just falls back. Like, if had you never met Rayla, would you still be here?
I don't think so.
It
Like,
it's you.
Rayla
One
convinced
person
me to
can
leave my job
yeah.
to come here.
I mean, one person can change your life.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and especially in this type of industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if Cody wasn't a decent human being, he wouldn't have got that opportunity, and he wouldn't be here right now on this lovely opportunity to expose himself.
Listen, just me being here to expose your podcast and make you guys popular, like I love it.
Yeah,
We really need your clout.
Yeah.
I don't need anybody.
1,500 of my followers on
Putting us on the
BBH
map.
Richmond on Instagram.
We have like 7 for the podcast, and they're mostly just different accounts that I've made.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you,
I don't even think I followed it.
He hasn't.
but I mean, like I said, it's going back to being a decent human being. People consider me a dick, like several months ago, but I took a look at myself and I didn't want to be that person anymore. I wanted to grow as a person. I wanted to be more than who I was and just wanted to be an all-around better person, have better friendships, have better relationships. And since I took that hard look in the mirror of who I was at that point in time, I went through some hard things and I've grown into who I am now. And I feel like I've earned the respect of at least the people who work here, the people who play here, and they kind of see me now as, an older brother they can come to for advice.
Well, it'd be a younger
bartenders come
brother
and
for
talk
me,
to me
but-
about things. Like, it's crazy once you buy into yourself and you can change those things about you that you can see the doors that open up and the opportunities that you start to get.
Yeah, I mean, if things aren't working out and not going in the direction that you want, you may have to look at yourself.
Well, if
and
you look around-
what can I change about myself to
Exactly.
make me more appealing? What can I do to sell myself and get people to buy into
If
me?
you look around and everybody has a problem with you, you might be the problem.
More than likely.
Yeah.
There's no way that 15 people all have the same opinion about you because that's the problem with them.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of, I hate to say it, egotistical artists that come in that have that, they are that way. They don't take that hard look. But if you
Everybody
do,
is here for me specifically.
Everybody's here to see me, and they better clap for me every time that I play a song.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not about that.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe they're enjoying. You guys as musicians can tell. And what I tell everybody, if you got that guy in the back of the room bobbing his head to a song you're singing, you did your job for the night.
Yeah.
If you can get that person in the very back of the room, that drunk girl on the dance floor is going to have a good time regardless if you're there or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you can get that 60-year-old man in the back just giving a little vibe to it, you did your job.
Always judge off of the 50-year-olds.
Exactly.
All right. So before we wrap this up here, I want a thought to leave everybody with. If it's what's going on with you, what's going on with the bar, what's going on, just whatever you want. This is your time to promote the bar, yourself, whatever. Just lay it out there. What you got going on? What do you
I have a
want?
follow-up question.
So I guess one of the biggest things right now is trying to grow, our social media presence, trying to grow our outreach to the community, and trying to grow the amount of artists that we have coming in. Like, we're getting to a point where I want to bring in, like I said, higher level artists on days that we're not open and do concerts. So that's a big thing that I'm pushing for right now, is trying to find a way to make our business grow past just that expectation of, oh, it's just a bar in Richmond. Like, that's not what I want to be, and that's not what Rayla wants to be. We're not just okay with settling. I want to be the mecca that artists look at and say, I really want to play at BBH one day. Like, that would just be a huge goal for me if I could just play at BBH.
When people think live music in
When,
Kentucky,
when you
want
think
them to
live
think
music
BBH.
in Tennessee,
Yeah.
in West Virginia, in Ohio, and
Yeah.
the surrounding, the KVAT area, it's like I want them to look and be like, you know what? I'd do anything to play on that BBH stage.
Yep.
And it's like, that's what I want us to grow into. Because if we can grow that, we grow as a whole. Also, our community grows. If people are driving 4 or 5 hours to get here, they rent a hotel, or they eat at a local restaurant, or they get gas at the gas station down the street. If we can grow ourselves as a business and be bigger than what we are, then the whole community grows, and it's just better all around for Richmond.
So how do people find how do people
So-
find BBH? Bluegrass Barrel House.
Type it in your maps on your phone. It's 701 East Irving Street. Richmond,
social
Kentucky,
media.
40475.
And that's how you pronounce my name, Justin.
It also pulls up as Bluegrass Barrel House.
Yeah, so if you type in Bluegrass Barrel House, it'll pop up. Social medias, we have Instagram, so it's BBH Richmond.
There's another one.
There's another one.
That's not it.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out who started that to where we can get that deleted.
Okay.
Because ours is BBH Richmond.
BBH
Just that.
Richmond.
The other one is an account that we don't know who owns it or who has it, but they posted stuff of our pictures. And so that's something I'm working with right now, trying to get with Instagram, actually trying to get that deleted. And we locked in that domain. We're starting a TikTok. We're starting one of those.
That'll be interesting.
I've already secured the domain. It's the same BBH Richmond. We've secured the domain for Snapchat, BBH Richmond, and you can find us on Facebook, Bluegrass Barrel House. Everything that we do at this bar is posted on Facebook and Instagram.
So if you want to know,
Sometimes you can see the bouncers do some just amazing. What's the wrestler? Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold,
and Bruce
Hulk.
Willis.
Oh,
He
yeah,
does
up
the
on the
greatest
rail.
I've ever seen.
Hey, listen.
he jumps up on the rail out there.
Yeah, we are all about fun.
Fun.
If we can have fun here, if
You will have fun if you've never been to this bar and you're in Central Kentucky or even not Central Kentucky. You want to have a
If you
good
just
fun
have to
time.
happen to drive up or down
75.
I-75.
Yep. You find your way. You get to this place, and I guarantee you'll be greeted with a smile and friends. It's like Norm from Cheers. Norm.
If you tell me at the end of the night
Yeah.
you didn't have a good time, I'll give you your cover back.
Yeah.
I mean, because
This
I've
is-
never had
you're
one
gonna have
person,
fun here.
unless they got kicked out. That is, for legal reasons. If you get kicked out, you'll not get your money back. But nobody's ever came here and said, you know what, that was a shit time.
Yeah.
I wish I'd stayed in bed.
Yeah.
Good stories don't happen by saying I would have stayed in on a Saturday night.
One time I went to bed.
Bad ideas make
That brings me to my question. What's the funniest thing that you've ever seen happen here? Craziest, funniest, whatever.
I would say, man, that's a tough question.
The time the bass player tripped over the drum riser and fell into his bass amp.
Yeah, that's a
When
pretty
did that
good
happen?
Oh, I did that.
I figured that.
It's been a couple
I mean,
months
most
ago.
of my funny times do involve, Justin over here with, between ordering at a food truck while Freebird's going on. That's
fun.
I don't
That
know
was
if
a
it's
high,
funny
that's
or
a,
just
that's that
I was
goes on my
hungry.
lifetime
confusing
highlight reel.
or
I was,
what.
I was
I'll tell
hungry.
you, just recently, Friday night, and I don't know why I laughed so hard about it because I shouldn't have laughed because I had to kick the guy out. He picked up a Red Bull off the bar and just dumped it on his friend's head. Just like dumped it on his head for no reason. They were best friends. They came together. They left together. So, we was like, hey, man, it's time to leave. And he goes, what'd I do? What do you mean, what'd you do? You dumped a Red Bull. And I said, no, I didn't.
I saw you.
You did.
There's Red Bull in the floor.
I was standing right here.
Hitting on his head.
You're still holding the Red Bull. He said,
gaslighting you. As
I don't know. Like, I didn't do that. And we're just like, you did. He goes, well, I don't remember doing it. And I'm like,
I love drunk people
Wow.
logic.
It means it's time to go, pal.
you know what?
I didn't do that.
Your friend's coming out. He's not going to fight you. You guys have a great night. We're glad that you're safe, and we're glad you have a safe ride home. There's the taxi if you don't have a ride coming already. And one of the things that our bouncers do here that a lot of bars don't do is we stand outside and we make sure they have a safe ride home. Mm-hmm. Because people need to make that a priority of, a DD, a safe drive home.
When it's not even that. Last time we played here, I was wheeling my stuff out to the car, and there was a domestic dispute that was happening in the pickup truck. Mm-hmm. And you ran from behind the bar, jumped off the porch, and ran out there. And it was 3 or 4 different bouncers out there and diffused the situation and made sure that
Made sure both parties were okay.
everybody was okay and was good to go, and it was safe. So it's not just in the bar like this place, and that's what I think separates a good bar from a great bar. Is you all genuinely care about people and your customers and your
absolutely.
artists that are here.
I feel safe here.
I feel safer here than I do at a lot of places.
One of the best compliments that we've gotten is I believe it was either homecoming this year or something, but a college girl came up to us and said, hey, this is my parents. And we're like, okay. She goes, I love it here. and I wanted my parents to see your bar. And we're like, okay. And the mom and dad looked at us and said, thank you so much for protecting our daughter. We love that she comes out here because we see now what your building looks like. We see all your security staff. We see the way you're interacting with her. Like, thank you so much for taking care of our daughter while she was, living like 4 or 5 hours away from here.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was like, wow, that's probably one of the biggest compliments that I've ever received is thanks for taking care of our daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to go out and drink, it
I don't know
it can
the
be
girl's
scary.
name,
Yeah. Hey,
but
but people feel comfortable.
they
here,
feel
man.
safe here.
Yeah.
And that's one of the highest priorities for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it definitely shows, I think.
2 things. One, for the people listening, American pride is a big thing here. How many bartenders and bouncers are veterans?
So we have Mike. He's a bartender, served in the Air Force. We have Frills. He was a Marine. We have Dalton, who is in the Navy. We have Weston, who is in the Army. We have, I know I'm going to forget somebody. I'm going to feel like an ass. That was Caleb. He was the Marine I mentioned.
Didn't know you called him that.
Yeah, his last name is Frills.
Gotcha.
Trying to go down my list here.
Willie's done throwing him off his train of thought.
The owner.
I
co-owner.
would say that we have at least 6 veterans. If I missed your name, I'm sorry.
Anthony, the co-owner.
Anthony's currently deployed. He is in the Army. Rayla's husband.
Yep.
He's been gone for a while, and we all
miss him
miss him
dearly.
extremely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't wait till he gets back.
The reason I bring that up, that is also another reason that safety and, care is such a priority here is like, you don't have some random 18-year-old just like with a neon shirt on. Like,
No.
These people are trained and have been trained to de-escalate situations, but also know how to take care of them when it happens.
And that's one of the things that we take with our bouncers is a hyper is you don't just get to come in and work.
Yeah.
You come in, you speak with me, you talk to George. George, your first couple weekends, you're with George.
Yeah.
And he teaches you how to bounce correctly.
Yep.
And it's all about approach. It's how you watch things. All of our bouncers carry a flashlight so they can see things. They all wear, a neon green or neon pink shirt, says security on it. If, a girl feels uncomfortable, she knows who to come to.
Yeah.
It's not just a guy dressed, with just a black shirt on.
And I think it's just impressive of how good how much pride, I guess is the right word, George takes in training these guys properly. Because I think May will be 2 years that I've worked here. And, there's been nights that you guys have kicked 4 or 5 people out, and I didn't even notice.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Super
That's-
professional.
And, normally when you're at a bar and somebody's getting rowdy and they're getting kicked out, a crowd forms.
You know it.
All the time.
It's just heads turn and everything like that. But, there's only been one, even close to fight that I've ever seen here, and that's just because a guy tried to tackle somebody as soon as he walked through the door.
Yeah.
And immediately broke up, took outside, and show was over.
Oh, yeah. It's one of our big things is we don't want anybody to know about it.
Yeah.
If we can take care of it and nobody sees it or tries to get involved with it, and the band keeps going, they keep playing, everybody's having a good time, let us ruin our Saturday night.
Yeah.
We don't want to ruin your Saturday night because some guy decides to be an a-hole.
Exactly.
It's like, there's no reason for that. There's no reason for you to ruin your night. Don't try to get involved in it.
Yeah.
Just let us take care of
Stay
it.
in your lane.
If somebody's, creeping on you or giving you a weird vibe, come
Just
let
say
us
something.
know. If you don't know who to find a bartender. Find somebody who's packing a beer box, or find a guy in a bright green shirt or bright pink shirt and say, hey, listen, I just feel really uncomfortable with them in here. And I guarantee you, they'll be gone in the next 5 minutes.
Talk to the band.
Oh, yeah, tell the band because the
I've
band's
had
going to know
several
who.
girls
In front of me that I could see, and they were, in a very uncomfortable situation with a dude, and I leaned down and was like, hey, do you need help? Like, do you need, and they're like, yeah. I go find the bouncer that's, guarding the stage, let him know, and they're out. Like,
I may or may not have had people kicked out of this bar before because I have a bird's eye view. I
Yeah.
can see everybody from that stage. So I know what's going on. And I'll point if the bouncer's not aware of it or I've seen something or whatever it might be. Like I'll just be like, hey, they need to go.
And I think
Because
that's
it's-
the reason.
it is always a consistent, packed out crowd here on weekends.
People feel safe.
People feel safe. They know it's a place they can come have fun and be taken care of.
Oh, yeah. And
So
we
my
take
second,
we take pride at our door is, we're we're wanting people. We check IDs, extremely hard here.
All the
You're
stack of fake IDs behind the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you ain't getting in here, folks.
Yeah, listen, we can make an entire building out of the cards.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know. I've seen them. It's crazy.
Away.
2, you talk about expanding, but yet you also talk about being maxed capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all have any plans of structural expanding as far as the building goes?
So for right now, we're still kind of here. Hopefully in the future, we want to grow.
Yeah.
We do have a large building here.
Yeah.
But, you have to get to a certain point to where you can start going up or out. The thing that helps us is having that large back patio and having that pit outside.
Yeah.
So, with our capacity, if we can get the pit open, like a nice summer night, we can fit 3 times as many people in here.
Yeah.
And that's, really helps us throughout the warmer months. But like I said, during the winter months, it is hard, everybody being cooped in. But I think it's what, makes people appreciate the outside more is that they don't get it all year round.
Right.
Yep.
I love the outside.
I like the outside. It was fun.
Outside's great.
But yeah, this is our building for life. This is where our home is. We'll always be here. Rayla doesn't have any plans on leaving this building, but hopefully one day, maybe we can expand. Maybe it's something that we have to make the pit bigger, or we have to figure out a way to go up.
Yeah.
Is there ways to go up here?
We have an upstairs. We'd like to one day renovate it. Rayla and some people are in talks. Maybe one day. But for now,
maybe it becomes a podcast studio. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe it becomes the Green Room Confessions.
Green Room Confessions.
Yeah,
that's an idea, Rayla.
We would love to. I wish that we had 8,000 square feet here, and we had Rupp Arena. But expanding, it's a hard thing to do, and it's a hard process. But
this size is the reason that you guys are still family.
Exactly.
So that's the awesome part about it.
Yeah. One day there will be a BBH South though, and it'll be a tiki bar in Florida. So all you Florida listeners that are out there, that's
make it Fort Myers. I can go there pretty easily.
I can do Fort Myers.
BBH South one day will be a thing when Rayla's ready to ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anybody got anything before we end this thing?
I guess for Rayla, I'm going to ask from each of you, like, what is the one thing you love and appreciate about BBH that we do that other places don't do?
Oh, he's going to get us in trouble at other venues.
Well, you don't have to name the venues.
Oh.
She hired me off the street.
Expertise.
For legal reasons, as a sound engineer,
nothing was proposed, just run sound.
So I came in here to watch these guys one night because Willie had just joined the band and I hadn't heard him play with them yet. For whatever reason, the sound guy hadn't showed up. Dwayne was on the road, and whoever was supposed to fill. Well, for legal reasons, I guess.
For legal reasons,
are we going to say that part?
We don't.
I already said it. He was in jail. I don't know who
talk
it was.
about my staff.
He was in jail.
He's not a staff here anymore.
Know his name, so I can't say his name.
If I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember his name.
I just happened to be here, and they didn't have a sound guy, so I talked to Alec and Eric and Willie and sort of Justin. I didn't know Justin. That was his first show with him.
That was my first show.
He was just a fill-in.
I was a fill-in then.
And
I was graduating.
I told her that I can get you started, and if your guy shows up, he can have it. My intentions was just to watch a set or two of them, and she was all for it. And I've worked at places before that like the owners and other sound guys have like stood over my shoulder, like waiting on me to screw up, and just never really felt welcome there. And I went through an interview process and was hired by them. And then I just show up here one night off the street. She's just like, there it is, go do it. And she come and checked on me and just made sure I didn't eat anything. But, she never.
It's probably, how you doing?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she made me feel welcomed. And if anybody had the right to stand over my shoulder and, do you know how to do this? She did.
That was the moment.
She did.
Yeah.
And she didn't do that. And so, that's one thing that I'm grateful for her, and it also gave me a way out of the other place that I was working. I really didn't like it. But yeah, that's one thing I'm really grateful for her of, and she's always treated me that way.
Willie?
I mean, obviously, like the music aspect, but the reason I'm here every Wednesday, one is to look at local talent. I love just coming and supporting local talent. But two, like, this is family. Like, yeah, we play here a lot, but like, I feel as welcomed as the staff is.
Right.
Like, that's just my personal experience. I'm always taken care of here. I know everyone's name. Everyone knows me. Like, it feels like family, and that's the legacy that y'all are wanting to leave is,
Right.
you know, family. It's not a bunch of jerks behind a bar or a bunch of jerks in neon. It's family. It's people that you can come to if you know you have problems. And
No, and Rayla's even, like I said, as a musician, if you even had a personal problem, you can come sit down with Rayla and just talk to her,
Oh yeah.
and she welcomes it and she's there for you.
She's here for it.
Yep, I agree. I think that's along the same lines for me. Is I know that every time we play here, it doesn't matter who's working or what, every person that I interact with, the staff here, is going to treat me just like I'm their brother, not even a cousin. Like I am family, not extended family. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You're not like the uncle that they only.
yeah, I'm not like the crazy uncle, even though I am the crazy uncle. But they
Exactly.
We don't
what
make
you
you,
are.
we don't make you feel that way.
you don't make me feel that way. But
I get to be the crazy brother.
I get to be the brother, the older brother of everybody. That's like, yeah, okay. But no, it's. I know as soon as I walk through that door, it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be laughs. I know if I need to come in here and sit down on that couch and have a conversation with Rayla and have a moment, if I've had a rough day and I just need to like
Have a mental breakdown.
complain, I know Rayla's going to take care of me, whatever I need for the day. I can pick up my phone and call her anytime I need. Doesn't matter if it's a day the bar's open or not. I talk to Rayla weekly.
Just don't do it at
Even-
8 a.m. sometimes.
Just don't do it at 8 a.m. But and the
Terrible
same
sleep
like
schedule.
Yeah.
like
person,
No
terrible sleep schedule.
team no sleep
No
for
sleep
her.
schedule.
But just today, like we had some things fall through, and it was like, oh, by the way, you're gonna have to fill in today, and you were flexible, and I felt comfortable enough to ask you for that,
Right.
Because I know you, and everybody here is it's just a fun place to play. I know the atmosphere is going to be insane. I know the drinks are going to be good. I know the people are going to be what makes this place fantastic.
And
And I'm going to be safe. I know when I come back here and sit in between sets and I come and relax, I don't have to worry about my custom bass guitar being stolen off the stage.
Right.
I don't have to worry about our tip bucket, somebody grabbing it and running out the door, which has happened at play
Nobody
venues.
pouring beer in it.
And we don't have to worry about people pouring beer in it, or, you know, like I know my gear is going to be safe. I know I'm going to be safe, and I know I'm going to have a good fun time, and I'm going to get paid to do it. And I'm going to probably get paid better here than I will anywhere else. And I feel comfortable. If I get too out of control,
reel you back in.
and Rayla has had conversations with people in this green room, not us, but I know of people that she has had to lay the law down on them, and it doesn't mean, and she will yell at you, and if you mess up, she's going to let you know. And it's not because she wants to embarrass you or hurt your feelings or whatever. Is she knows that we're capable of better, and she wants.
If Rayla brings you back here, or I guess the cooler is her main real
cooler talk.
bad
Cooler
talk.
talks, yeah.
If you've not had a cooler talk, be glad.
I've never had a green room talk, which I'm very proud of. The only reason she's doing that is because she cares about you and wants to see you. She knows you're capable of better, like Justin said, and wants to see you change for the better.
And the thing,
If we didn't care, we just wouldn't book you again.
Yeah, you just they'd say, okay, that's your opinion. There's the door.
cool.
Don't let it hit you on the way out.
And the thing is even when you have those talks, it's not a personal thing with her.
It's business.
It's a business thing, and that's like she is our employer for the night, and we're her employee.
Yeah, and what you do reflects on her. So she's got to do. I mean, this is her livelihood. This is. And a lot of people's livelihoods. And what you do and how you act reflects on them and can possibly jeopardize how much money they make.
And worst case scenario, people don't know the name of the band that we're in, that we're playing, or whomever. If somebody comes in and sees you and you're sucking, they're going to look at that and be like, that band at Bluegrass Barrel House. If we put on a good show, they might know our name.
BBH hires terrible bands.
Yeah, we're going to go there. It's going to. So you got to have those tough conversations, but if it comes from a place of love and stuff and
it's all
like,
about
that's why I love it here, because I know if I play bad, she's going to tell me. She's going to say, Justin,
good, she's going to tell you.
And if I play good, she's going to tell me. She'll be like, we had a show here a couple of months ago. Wasn't very good. Last time we played here, she said, you guys killed it.
Brought it back up.
And killed it. And we did. It was an intentional thing. Like, hey, we need this we got to do this. And that's conversations. And that's something that I value from here, is that I know if I say, Cody, how we sounding tonight? You say, crap. What? Crap, we're going to have to turn this up.
I actually looked at the last time you guys played here. I looked at one of your other bandmates and said, hey, listen, that song needs a little work before you play it here again.
Yeah.
And it was one of the new songs you tried out that night.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
Hey, I don't want you to go somewhere else and play it. They're not going to tell you the honest truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why. And
I'd
that's
rather
why,
tell you the truth. You'd be mad at me for 10 minutes than.
But that's what
to let
separates.
you keep doing it.
But in my opinion, that's what separates this place. I always tell people, like, this is our home. Yeah. Like, this is our home bar. Where, like, if for some reason our band was to make it big and say, like, where'd y'all come out of? This is where we came out of. And on that note, thank you, Cody, for coming out tonight. We really appreciate you and getting to share all this. And it may be garbage, but I had fun.
This is
a pilot episode. The pilot of The Office wasn't great.
If it starts going downhill, we might not. There might not be a third one.
Yeah. There'll probably be a second one.
There'll probably be a second one. Might not be a third one if it keeps going. If it goes down, it can only go up.
Be gassed. We gotta make it 5.
Anyway, we'll figure it out. Anyway, here's
if nothing else got you out of the house to have a couple beers with the friends.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Yeah.